My name is Benoni Okwenje, and I head the Financial Markets Department here at Centenary Bank, Uganda. So the primary dealer system was instituted by the Bank of Uganda back in 2003. It was further amended in 2020. And there are a number of reasons as to why they created the primary dealer system. The first would be to reduce on the administrative costs of the distribution of government securities to the investing public. So they appointed a number of commercial banks who obviously have large networks and infrastructure and many customers. So it just makes sense for government securities to be sold using those platforms. The other, from Bank of Uganda's perspective, was to develop the financial markets in Uganda. Government securities, should be made to be traded actively a lot easier, and with that, the financial markets become more and more developed. The other reason is for government to meet its funding or borrowing needs at a minimum cost as possible. And again, this ties in to the depth, the market development. There are several roles that primary dealers play. The first role is for the underwriting of all of the Bank of Uganda primary auctions. So every 2 weeks, Bank of Uganda holds an auction where they issue government securities, and the primary dealers are expected to buy all of these government securities and distribute them to the investing public. It must be noted though, for all investors who are investing up to a maximum of 200 million shillings, they are still able to buy the securities directly from the Bank of Uganda, but typically that's a very small portion. The other role of primary dealers is to promote government securities and investing in government securities. This is to market them to our customers and the investing public. This is to show constant prices, two-way pricing, where we can buy these government securities, where we can sell them on a regular basis. And again, it's to promote the secondary market trading of these instruments. The other is to constantly engage Bank of Uganda, share with them any market intelligence that we have, and work with them in terms of how we can improve on the process of the distribution of government securities. Government securities are instruments that are issued by government in good faith, and these instruments enable government to borrow from the domestic market, or from the investing public actually. And they come in two forms. The first form is Treasury bills, which are more short-term in nature. These are issued in periods of 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. You then have a second category, which are Treasury bonds. These are more long-term in nature. And these are in tenors of 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. And again, why does government have to borrow money from the investing public? Well, we know every year government has plans on where they're going to spend money and earn money. The main area where they earn money from is from taxes, but that isn't enough to fund the expenditure requirements. So what they do to substitute, or in addition, where they can get additional funding from, is from the domestic market or from the investing public, and it's through these instruments that they can borrow money and pay interest on them. Almost anyone can invest in government securities, but if I'm to categorize the different investors, these will be commercial banks, pension funds, insurance companies, basically all financial institutions. This could be government agencies, this could be individuals, this could be SACCOs, you name it. So there's really no limitation as to who can invest in government securities. In terms of the benefits of investing in government securities, there are quite a number. One, they provide a savings mechanism. As you know, in Uganda, we don't have a very strong savings culture. So investing in government securities is one way for you to save for the future. The other benefit is they actually provide very attractive returns comparatively. If you look at other investment options, I think government securities give you a relatively higher return. Another benefit is they are 100% backed by government. No matter what happens, you will get your money back. So essentially they're risk-free, except for things like inflation, but generally they are risk-free. If, for example, you want to get a loan from a commercial bank, government securities can be used as collateral. And probably the last major benefit I can think of is they're very liquid. And what do I mean by that? Is you can invest in government securities today and you can sell them tomorrow. There's a very active secondary market. So you can buy today and sell whenever you want. You can't fail to offload your government securities, which is different than many other investment options where once you invest, you're locked in for the period that you're investing for. Advice I'd give is I would encourage you to definitely go and invest in government securities. The advantages which I mentioned, there are quite a number of them. These are risk-free instruments, 100% backed by government. According to Bank of Uganda, you only need 100,000 shillings to invest in them, so you don't need to be rich. I think it's an affordable amount. They're easily bought and sold, so if indeed you invest today, you can sell whenever, due to emergencies or what have you. And they're very easy. The process is very easy. You can go to any of Centenary Bank's 80 branches and they will assist you with your investments in government securities. Investing in government securities is a very, very easy process. As I mentioned, you can go to any of Centenary Bank's 80 branches and you'll be facilitated. First and foremost, you need to have a bank account with Centenary Bank. Secondly, you would just need to bring one passport-size photo and you'll be required to fill in a 2-page form. It is as simple as that in terms of opening up your CSD account, which is an account held at the Bank of Uganda where your government securities will be held in. So now the actual investing. So you have two options. One is if you want to invest directly in the Bank of Uganda auction, this is possible. There's a form that you can fill, but you can only invest up to a maximum of 200 million shillings. The second option is if you wanted to invest in the secondary market, and this will be for investors who are investing more than 200 million. There's another form that you would fill, but again, once you go to any of our 80 branches, the team there will get in touch with the Financial Markets Department, which I head, and we will walk you through the different investment options. You would then fill in a form and it is done. It is as simple as that. Your account will be debited and your CSD account will be credited with your government securities. Primary dealers have had a huge impact on the economy. First and foremost, primary dealers are extremely important to government in terms of government being able to meet its fiscal requirements. And this is specifically looking at the domestic borrowing that they do through government securities. Primary dealers underwrite all of the primary auctions and distribute these instruments to the investing public and remit these funds to government. So again, from a fiscal perspective, PDs or primary dealers have played a very, very important role. When you look at market development and the depth of our market, it's definitely developed over the years, and primary dealers have been at the forefront of that. When you look at things like secondary market trading, the rate at which these instruments are traded on a daily basis, this has increased significantly. Just to give you context, if I look at the increase in secondary market trading between 2020 and 2022, you're looking at over 200% increase. In comparison to some of the other markets like Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, comparatively, Uganda actually is way more advanced in this particular area. So, I think primary dealers have done well in meeting the obligations, which is, again, as mentioned, enabling government to borrow efficiently and effectively, but also developing the financial markets in Uganda. First and foremost, as Centenary Bank, we are proud to be primary dealers in this market. We are the largest retail bank. We're the largest indigenous bank. So for us, it's extremely important that we are primary dealers. In terms of the financial markets in Uganda, I'm extremely optimistic. We've developed over the years, and I anticipate us developing even further. Uganda remains a favorite of offshore investors because of the environment that we have. And I must say, as long as we continue along this path, then our markets will develop. Looking specifically, we have a central bank that is open and willing to engage the market. We have a central bank that is proactive with its monetary policy. We have a liberalized capital account, which enables investors to come in and out as they choose. And again, we have a free floating exchange rate. I think when you look at all these factors, especially with everything that's happening internationally, I think our markets will almost certainly develop. And I'm very, very optimistic. And we look forward to serving our customers and having more of them invest in government securities going forward. Thank you.